Bad Omens is one of the biggest bands out there, with almost 6 million monthly listeners. But I guess the question is, how did they get there? What's their story as a band? That's what we're gonna find out today. So my friend, as usual, take a cup of coffee, cigarette, chocolate chip cookies, whatever you feel like, as we explore the story of Bad Omens. Real quick, before starting the video, if you don't want to miss any of my content, I really recommend clicking on the notification bell, because I've noticed that not a lot of people did so far. So yeah, also, if you want to join our Discord, it's an amazing community, it's free, so the link is in the description, as usual. Again, our live podcast on Twitch is every Wednesdays, and sometimes even on Saturdays we're doing bonus episodes with tons of amazing guests. You don't want to miss that. And my merch, of course, is now available. It's more of a clothing line, really, but it doesn't matter. It looks pretty cool if you want my opinion. I always wanted to do something metal, but classy at the same time. I don't know how to explain, but if it's your thing, feel free to go on my website, or at the very least, maybe let me know what you think. It would be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's start the video. So the band was founded in 2015 in Richmond, Virginia, and the lineup was Noah Sebastian on vocals, Nicholas Ruffillo on guitar, Vincent Recure on bass, Jolly Carlson on guitar, and Nick Folio on drum. And I probably mispronounced every single name, and for that, I am sorry. The important thing is, this was their lineup. Before moving on, I think it's worth mentioning that Noah had another band, and also, you might wonder how they met, right? I could tell you, but I'd rather let Noah do the talking.
I'll try to make it short as possible. It's a very long story. But basically I quit that band and I started writing just material, like solo material for myself, recording it, and I made, an EP for this band under the a different band name. And throughout that time, Nick Ruffillo here, our guitar player, he was and still is obviously my best friend, and that's when he brought on board Vincent. Vincent plays bass in Bad Omens. We just clicked really well instantly as friends and as musicians. We shared a lot of similar tastes and interests, and that's when we realized we needed another guitar player. And that's when Vincent reached out and told me about his best friend Joachim, who was playing guitar in a band called Her Bright Skies at the time, all the way in Sweden. Also, same story as Vincent, he clicked really well with me as a person. At that point, all we needed was a drummer. And our manager at the time put us in contact with Nick Folio, but I guess the email thread kind of died out or something, and it got mixed up and lost, and there were a few other submissions, like drum covers of the songs. That's when Folio reached out to me personally on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I didn't hear back, but here's my cover of your song." And when we all saw the video, we just knew he had to be in the band. He had a very cool, intense, unique, feral playing style. Is very animalistic and intense, and that's exactly what I think we've all agreed we wanted this band to represent and be like since day one. So with their early songs and demo, they got noticed by a very big label, and that's when Bad Omens, just as they were starting their career, got signed by Sumerian Records. A big milestone, very big step, and unfortunately I couldn't find any of that stuff, like the old demos and songs. It's not a big deal, because most of these songs would be featured on their first full length. We're gonna get to that. It's just, I love listening to the demos, raw material kind of things, but it's fine, it's good, it's okay. I was just a bit bummed out by that. Anyway, so with their new label,
they were finally ready to go in the studio and record with none other than Will Putney, my friends. If you've been watching my videos, you know how much he's involved with so many great bands out there. I mean, everything he touches is just great, and obviously I believe it was the right move to do. Their first album with a producer like that, come on, it's kind of a dream. And so in December 2015, Bad Omens officially released their first official video for their first single called Glass Houses. Very good song, a great first impression for them, I believe. To me, it was kind of a mix between Bring Me the Horizon, Suicide Season era, and Sempiternal era. I'm saying that because some parts reminded me of Chelsea Smile. This is a call out, and I'm not scared to drop some names. I got a secret, return to my time, on the back of my life. While other parts reminded me of Shadow Moses. On top of that, Noah kind of had a similar look to Ollie Sykes during that era, which isn't bad by any means. I think it played in their favor. I'm just saying it because I just compared Bad Omens to Bring Me the Horizon. So yeah, there it is. As for the video, it was simple, but it was pretty cool. The whole production was great, and the concept, I mean, you see entities grabbing Noah. It was a great first video, I think. And as for the song name, fun fact, it wasn't even called like that. And even better, the band itself wasn't even called Bad Omens.
The song Glass Houses, our first single,
Yeah.
that was originally called Bad Omens.
Okay.
And this band was called Man vs. Self. I wasn't a big fan of the name. The rest of the guys weren't. Sumerian wasn't like too into it. They liked it, but we were like, you know, we could do something better. Like, we're not, you know, big to the point that our name is stuck yet.
Yeah.
So we were like going through a million ideas, and we probably settled on 5 before we settled on.
Yeah.
I keep saying settled, so we probably went through like 5 before we finally agreed on Bad Omens.
Okay.
Just because I like the way it sounds. We're all into like very, you know, witchy things. You know,
Yeah.
kind of cryptic, kind of spooky.
Okay.
But still tasteful. You know, it's not too metal.
Yeah.
It could,
yeah.
you know, it sounds to me like when I first heard the word Bad Omens, it sounded like an old school like rock band.
Yeah.
You know, and I liked that a lot, and I thought it was, you know, more unique than some other names that we had
Okay.
and some other bands that I'm into. So
Yeah.
Interesting, right? Then, only a month later, they came back with another single called Exit Ones. Great song, very memorable and catchy once again. It reminded me of Architects and of Mice and Men during those years for some reason. The video was simple but very effective. It was a performance video. The thing is, and I don't want to sound superficial, but when you've got a frontman with the rockstar energy and all that, you don't need much else. Just a performance video in itself is going to do the job very well, I believe. Their first big tour was the 10 Years of Sumerian tour, if you can believe it. What a great way to start your career, playing with bands like Born of Osiris and Veil of Maya, After the Burial, and also, of course, Bad Omens, clearly killing it right off the bat. I wanna feel love again! Then, at the beginning of the summer, the band released another new single called The Worst in Me. gotta say, man, it's very impressive. I mean, releasing hit after hit like that, when you're an upcoming band who just got signed, I don't know, it's crazy to me. Just straight up mind-blowing. And talking about that, in July, like if it wasn't enough, they released another new video for their single called The Fountain. Very different song, super emotional, and I think the goal was to show the diversity on the album and surprise the fans, which worked very well. I mean, I was reading the comments, people were excited and quite surprised, so mission accomplished. Which brings us, my friend, to August 2016, when Bad Omens released their official first full-length album. Wow, man, what an album, for real. I mean, I know I reviewed like 4 songs prior to that, but still, as much as I was comparing Noah to Ollie Sykes, he's so versatile and his voice is out of this world. He's gonna get even better, you're gonna see the more we dive in the video, but wow, man. I mean, and the whole production, I know it's Will Putney, but come on, it's just top tier the whole time. And as for the vibe, I would say it's kind of 2009 metalcore meets 2015 metalcore or something. It's kind of a mix of old school and new school. It's very good. It's just catchy and, as I said many times, memorable, which is exactly what you want. And yeah, it was a great way to start for them. Obviously, I wasn't the only one thinking the album was great. It was extremely well received, tons of positive reviews and stuff like that. So much so that they got invited on a very big tour, the 10 Year of the Black tour, with Asking Alexandria, Born of Osiris, Icy Stars, After the Burial, Upon Her Breathing Body. Pretty sick tour if you ask me. I mean, wow. And of course, Bad Omens was no exception because they were killing it. I mean, at this point, the band was on fire. The following year, in 2017, they even did the freaking Vents Warped Tour. It was huge. Another cool thing Noah did back in those days was to work with the Winds of Plague on their brand new album. And I thought it was worth mentioning that Johnny Plague called their success very early on. Mark my words, within the next 2 years, everyone will know this kid's name. Pretty accurate, if you ask me. Then in 2018, they were still touring with the biggest bands, like we're talking Parkway Drive and Stick to Your Guns. They even started touring in Japan, which was just insane for a band like Bad Omens. Unfortunately, during the summer, they had to part ways with Vincent, their bassist, which I'm sure was very difficult for them, especially considering that Noah and him had become pretty much best friends by that point. I think I heard that in some interviews and whatnot. And so, yeah, apparently it was completely in good terms. It's just because Vincent had an injury, and then as he was, you know, on break, he was thinking about the whole thing, the big picture, and he realized that he preferred being a tattoo artist. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Him and Nick, I believe, are both tattoo artists as well. Of course, it didn't take too long before the fans noticed and started talking about it online, rumors and all that stuff. You know how it goes. And so in July, the band directly addressed the situation and made this statement on Facebook. All of us in Bad Omens wanted it to be totally clear. We welcomed Vince's decision to depart from the band only with respect and understanding. We wish him nothing but success and good fortune with his full-time career as a tattoo artist. We also want everyone to know that this change hasn't slowed us down whatsoever, and that we are still moving forward with full force as we enter this next chapter of Bad Omens. Thank you all for your understanding. So there you go. It was cool to see that all of it was in good terms, and I found an interview in which you could really tell they were hopeful and confident for the future of the band.
We thought it was going to be pretty cool if we didn't just bring somebody else in, because we are all founding members of the band. We wanted to keep it all original, and yeah, so I would love to stay a 4-piece. We've been making it work so far, and I'm excited about it. I like the change of pace, you know. It's fun. I've had this switch the way I play the set a lot of times by now. Yeah. Between playing leads, playing rhythm, and now I play a completely different instrument, but it's cool. We enjoy it.
I really think it's cool that they decided to stay with 4-piece, with Nick switching to bass and all that, and by the end of the summer, in August 2018, they came back with a brand new single called Careful What You Wish For.
Only in sadness do you feel happy instead.
Very beautiful song with great meaning and a powerful message. I think we need that in our scene. It was written after Chester's passing, or at least that's what I read online. So yeah, very great song. In November 2018, this band never stops, by the way. You're gonna see that. They released another new song called The Hell I Overcame. A very different song, quite heavier, and it was exactly their goal. They said that they wanted to tell their fans in a way that they wouldn't stop making heavy material, that it was part of their identity as a band. So when they released it, obviously a lot of people were really happy, and you know, but pretty much all the comments were positive. Everybody was excited for the new album. But before getting into that, a little drama happened in 2019 with the Media Affliction and Census Fail. You see, Bad Omens was supposed to be on a tour with them, and also with Belmont. And while we're here, this band, Belmont, it's so good. Like, I mean, it's one of my favorite bands ever.
Deep beneath my skin, felt the change of pace, switched up the weight up. I'm sick and tired of this.
Alright, so here's a story. Bad Omens was supposed to be part of the tour. Everything was settled and all that. But when the tour was announced, they decided not to go with them. Before getting into their reason, I'm just gonna say that Census Fell and the Immediate Affliction basically posted to everyone saying that the only reason why Bad Omens would not do the tour was because their logo was too small on the flyer. And I know it might sound stupid and petty and all that, but here's my take. The behind the scenes are always more complicated than how it looks, and from what I could read, Bad Omens had other reasons, and when the tour was announced, a lot of stuff was not respected by the other bands, so they respected themselves and they decided not to go. But what the other bands did, in my opinion, was the problem. We shouldn't announce to everyone, to all the fans, like the behind the scenes like that. It should be, when it's business, it's supposed to be between the bands, you know, between the labels and stuff like that. And so they tried to laugh at them, and I was reading the comments, tons of people were saying that Bad Omens was just like, you know, not reasonable, and that they were like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like they were like petty and all that. But I don't know, I'm on your side on this, and I know there's not even a side to pick. It was in 2019, but I'm just saying we shouldn't do that. I don't think it's cool to expose the behind the scenes like that, unless it's something very, you know what I mean, like abusive or whatever. But in this case, I don't know, I just thought it sucked that they did that, because obviously it made the band look very bad, and so they had to make a statement. I won't read the whole thing, but here's what they said. Standing up for yourself in any type of relationship, whether business or personal, is something Bad Omens believes in. Sometimes that means people get upset, hence having to write this. I mean, from the look of it, Bad Omens were just being professional and they respected themselves. That's my takeaway. And again, I'm not into drama. You guys know that. I wanted to mention it because it was important, but I still respect all the bands involved and whatnot. I just think it's important that we have these discussions. So if you have anything to add on or you want to share your opinion, never hesitate. The comment section is right there for that, and I welcome it. Now, on a more positive note, in June 2019, the band came back with a brand new single called Burning Out.
So tell me, can you keep a secret? I thought I lost my soul. Don't take it out, don't take it out, don't take it out. I was lost, but now I'm found under the lights and in the...
Okay, where to start? Such a wholesome video. Right when it starts, you hear people chanting Bad Omens, and you see tons of beautiful moments with the band. And I love that Vincent is there the whole time. I think it was, I could be wrong, but it felt like a tribute to him, kind of a thank you for everything type of thing, as well as a beautiful moment for the band. And in the chorus, it's very beautiful. He sings, "We're not perfect, but we're proud of who we are." I love it. It's just so positive and cool. And the song is great. So I have nothing negative to say. It was just awesome. And talking about awesome, by the end of the summer, in August 2019, Bad Omens officially released their brand new album called Finding God Before God Finds Me. This song, and I mean the whole album, it's just top tier. It's so good and emotional. I mean, you just heard pretty much the heaviest thing on the album, but as we've heard with all the other singles, it's full of different layers and emotions, and it's as catchy, as intense. I don't know, just, and Noah's voice, I mean, he keeps getting better and better, and he's so diversified in his sound. Everything is good. It's what people call generic. I mean, it's the opposite. It's so real, and you can tell that it's meaningful to them. Just something I'm chasing in music. That's something that I can relate to very much. So to me, 10 out of 10. Obviously, once again, I wasn't the only one feeling this way about the album, since it was charting everywhere, and they're such a hard-working band. They deserve every part of it. In terms of official videos, they made one for the song Depth Thrones, which is the song I chose to represent the album. It was a great production, very creepy, perfectly matching the tones and all that. Then the band just was living the dream, touring, killing it out there, until in January 2020, believe it or not, they already came back with a brand new single called Limits.
You set me up as a villain, but you never mentioned the root of the lions. You should know.
I'm gonna start by saying that it's one of my favorite songs by the band. I think it's the first one I heard, but it's mostly for the meaning, or at least the meaning I got from it was that no matter how many people are trying to bring you down, use it as a motivation instead, you know, and kind of, I wouldn't say prove it, but you know what I mean, like just do your thing, no matter what people say, is what I got from it. My favorite lyrics in the song is the chorus. Basically, it's, if you're throwing me to the lions, you should know I'm not scared of dying. I wouldn't take back one thing I did, one word I said, but I'm gonna make you wish you did. I don't know, it's something I can very much relate to. As a matter of fact, before doing this video, I don't know, I usually get a lot of very good comments, but today was one of those days, like even on Instagram, everywhere, like a lot of negativity and I don't know, just bad comments, and it got to me a little bit. But then, instead of taking the day off or something, I'm like, no, I'm gonna film my video, I'm gonna do my thing, and now I'm feeling great. So what I guess I'm just trying to say, this song is meaningful to me. Believe it or not, it kind of went viral. I mean, most people think that Bad Omens were blowing up after Just Pretend, but they were pretty big before that, with Limits and all the other songs pretty much, and yeah, it was a big moment for them. Of course, unfortunately, they released it in January 2020, and as we all know, the pandemic happened right after that, so they had to drop off a big tour, and it was very unfortunate. Still released a deluxe version of their album, including Limits and their cover of Come Undone. And in October, they released one of my favorite thing ever. It was an unplugged version of their songs as an EP. So good.
There are scars I never ever show them. If I'm there to catch you when you fall.
And that's not even the best part. They released an official video for each song, and every video is awesome and with a good vibe. And as I was making the video, I was taking breaks and just rewatching them because I don't know, it's very relaxing. And I don't know if it's because it was the whole pandemic and they were kind of trying to comfort people in a way, but it was beautiful. I was so impressed by Noah's voice on this version. Truly incredible. And you know what? I was even more impressed when I heard it in live sessions.
If you're throwing me to the lions, you should know I'm not scared of dying.
I mean, say what you want about Bad Omens, but nobody can tell me that they're not truly talented. Come on, it's a God-given gift almost. It's truly amazing. After that, a year later, the band officially came back with a brand new single and a new video for their song, The Death of Peace of Mind.
I made another mistake, thought I could change, thought I could make. I miss the way you say my name, the way you bend, the way you break.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, Noah's hair, it was super short. Does it matter? Not so much. But to me, it was matching the new era of the band. That's what I would call it. Like, the music, it was so different. But don't get me wrong, it was extremely good, both in terms of production, Noah's incredible range and all that. They were a step above. Like, say what you want, you can prefer the old material and all, but wow, like as an artist, as a band, it's like they took a step back and came back stronger than ever. That's kind of how I feel about it. The video itself was quite representative of the whole thing, the pandemic and all. It was dark and moody, but it matches perfectly the tones, so it worked, and what a success. I was reading the comments, I was looking at the reviews and all that. It was so well received, so all in all, they killed it. Then, in January 2022, Bad Omens officially released their brand new video for the song Artificial Suicide.
Light Molotovs for the broken youth.
Very cool song, a bit heavier, very modern and futuristic sounding. It was matching the whole concept of the song perfectly, in my opinion. Once again, I feel like a broken record. I keep repeating that the production is great, but I love saying it because those behind the scenes, these people working on videos and producing the albums, they're as important as the bands. So I don't know, I'm just saying it, I guess. Then a month later, talking about that, they released another new video for their song Like a Villain. Once again, completely killed it. It was kind of similar to the older material, but with new modern elements in it. Kind of a mix of everything they've done so far. That's the vibe I got from it. The whole video was cool once again, just pleasantly surprised. It was great. But then, in February 2022, Bad Omens officially released their brand new album called The Death of Peace of Mind.
And every step forward, put a little more sword in your heart, yeah. There's not another way to let me go.
Where to start? For me, it's a weird review to make because some songs are exactly what I love, while some others are just not for me. The very modern, electronic, almost dubstep sounding songs are not my thing. I'm not saying they're not good, it's just not what I prefer. But the other songs, like the more, I guess, alternative, rock sounding material, so good. So catchy and memorable and perfect. So it's a mixed thing for me. But all in all, production-wise, quality-wise, songwriting-wise, wow, like just top tier. Like objectively, it's a freaking masterpiece. It's just, I'm being honest, like the very electronic material, just not, and not just Bad Omens, I mean like in general, that's just not my thing. That being said, this album, you know how I always say like, oh, it was charting? This time it was charting on another level. I mean, just, and like if it was not enough, I think it was a year later, they released the real game changer, their video for the song Just Pretend.
I'm not afraid of the war.
It was an instant fans favorite. It was #1 on the radio. It just, like, viral isn't even the word. I'm sure you all know that. It was just, like, even success would be an understatement. It was huge. And the funny thing is, and it's worth including in the video, I believe, it started as a joke kind of thing.
Because I wrote that song in January 2019. And at the time I was like frustrated with like people in my ear talking about like, oh, you need to focus on radio and you need to do Octane and this and that. Never having an ulterior motive when writing has always been like a strict rule of ours. Like, we just want to make music that we like and we're proud of. There's no goal to get it on the radio or a playlist. We just like to make music. So with Just Pretend, it started as like this ironic like butt rock song. Like, even the way I was singing in the demo, like I was like doing this exaggerated bravado. It sounded like Shinedown or Godsmack. Like, it sounded way more manly than I naturally sing. And by the time we finished the chorus, as silly as the vocal sounded, I was like, this is actually a really great chorus. Because I was kind of just like freestyling. It was a very natural, like I had written some chords and I just started singing in the booth over it. And this like melody came out, the lyrics came out like really quickly. Yeah, so last night we just realizing that a song that was written to like poke fun at how easy it is to make radio rock is now #1 on the radio rock charts is like the most ironic full circle moment this band will probably ever have.
It was their moment. They were bigger than ever, just living the dream, and it was, you know, they were already successful, but there's kind of a line, and it's like the 1% of artists type thing, and they were there, you know, like featured on so many cool things, and they went from opening big tours to headlining big tours, which is quite the accomplishment for a band in only a few years. And also they got to tour with Premier Eisen, which I'm sure was amazing for them because they stated they were a big influence to them. So a big highlight for me was when they got featured on a Crunchyroll podcast type thing. They were talking about anime and stuff like that. In case you didn't know, I love anime. We even have a anime channel in our Discord, if it's your kind of thing. And while we're here, if you love isekai anime, trust me, you should watch That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime and The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. They're both incredible. I also just started Jujutsu Kaisen Unreal. Like, just, if you love Demon Slayer, you're gonna love this one. Trust me, you'll thank me later. And now I'm gonna stop talking about that because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching being like, who cares? So, yeah. Then, at the beginning of the year, they released a brand new single called VAN, which stands for Violence Against Nature.
Violence against nature.
A very cool song featuring Poppy. That being said, I had to watch it a few times with a different mindset. Like, as I mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of electronic, modern sounding stuff. But when I switched my mindset and I listened to it kind of like a movie soundtrack, it clicked, like it worked. I was enjoying some parts at the very least, and yeah, objectively it was great. Even if it's not my thing, I can tell when there's a lot of talent involved, and I think they did a great job. Then very recently in May this year, they released a new album. I don't know if I can say new album because it was remix of most of their songs. They had like live material, but also some new songs, including one I very much like. It was the song with Era, and it's called anything better than human?
Wishing that I was someone else. This life was all it had to be. Tears and love for you.
And that pretty much brings us to today. As you all know, they're killing it right on top of the scene with Bring Me the Horizon, Sleep Token. They're living the dream as a band and they deserve it completely. So I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do next. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It's a good way to support. And talking about that, if you didn't click on the notification bell, you could do it right now, because if you're still watching, I can tell you care, and it's a great way to not miss any new content, and it's helping the channel, I believe. Again, if you want to join our Discord, it's free. It's a great community. I think we're almost at like 800 members or something. All very welcoming. Every day I'm reading stuff. It's very interesting. We talk about way more than music, so feel free to join. There's also our live podcast on Twitch every week on Wednesdays and sometimes even on Saturdays for bonus content. It's a great occasion for you to ask all your questions to your favorite artists in the scene. I promise it's a good time. And finally, my merch. I'm so freaking proud. I mean, if you want to look classy and metal at the same time, it might be your vibe. So go on my website if you want, or at the very least, you could maybe give me your feedbacks. That'd be great. Oh, and before I forget, can't believe I'm saying that now, but feel free to leave a comment. I love reading your stories, and if you want to add more information, whatever, I love that. So feel free to comment anything. It's always very much appreciated. But for now, I'm gonna stop talking finally, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.